In this video, I'll be discussing the brain structures on the sheep brain. For the purposes of this demonstration, I've already cut the brain longitudinally into two halves along the longitudinal fissure, which separates the two cerebral hemispheres. This right here is the left cerebral hemisphere. Each hemisphere has ridges called gyri, as well as grooves called sulci. The cerebrum has four lobes. On the anterior portion we have the frontal lobe, which controls motor functions. Dorsal to that we have the parietal lobe, which receives and processes somatic sensory information. Inferior to that are parietal lobes, which receive auditory sensations. And the dorsal portion of the cerebrum make up the occipital lobe, which receives information from our eyes. Posterior to the cerebrum is the cerebellum. And the cerebellum controls muscle coordination. And if I put the inferior portion up, we have the brainstem, which consists of the spinal cord, the medulla oblongata, the pons. On this inferior view, we can also see the cerebral peduncle, as well as the octave chiasm of our optic nerve. Now I'll be discussing the internal structures of the brain. We can still see the cerebrum and the cerebellum and the brainstem, which consists of a spinal cord, medulla oblongata, and pons. In each hemisphere that we have lateral ventricles for cerebrospinal fluid, and we have our thalamus and hypothalamus, which connect to our midbrain. In our cerebellum, we can see the internal white matter as well as the outer gray matter. From the cerebellum, we can see that there's a fourth ventricle here. When we make a crosscut in the cerebrum just anterior to the thalamus, it allows us to see inside of the cerebrum. It allows us to see the internal white matter as well as the outer gray matter. And with that, I conclude my video on the brain structures of a sheep brain. Thanks for watching.